Once I decided on the brief I wanted to complete for the advanced media portfolio, I decided to focus my attention on the science fiction genre, specifically the post-apocalyptic subgenre. For my research into the history of science fiction film and the combination of two genres to create a hybrid genre, I conducted extensive research into similar products from the same genre and video style. This meant I had the opportunity to textually analyse theatrical productions such as Francis Lawrence's I Am Legend and Albert Hughes' The Book of Eli, and short film texts like Silent Transitions and Connected. From my research, I found that I Am Legend was very effective by only having one key protagonist throughout the entire film, but still had sequences with flat characters to enhance and deepen the narrative. This convention was also apparent with the Book of Eli towards the start of the text, but gradually faded as the audience were introduced to the antagonist of the narrative and a strong female character who would eventually become Eli's superseding protege. I feel I developed this convention as I chose to have one key protagonist, but with links to another female through the use of a picture in the character's wallet. Using a picture as a prop is conventional of the psychological genre and post-apocalyptic genre, as film texts such as John Hill Coates' The Road constantly use this convention to remind the audience of the character's past. In terms of narrative structure, I feel my short film challenges the conventions of real media products, as the viewer is exposed to two sequences at the same time, one of the protagonists moving through the forest with a rope, and the other with the protagonist in a state of reminiscence at the edge of a dead forest. This argument is based on the fact that other theatrical post-apocalyptic films, like Roland Emmerich's 2012 and The Day After Tomorrow, follow Todorov's three-part narrative structure by having a neutral equilibrium, disequilibrium, and new equilibrium at the end of the film texts. On the other hand, short films like Evidence of Things Unseen and Where Is Your Wilderness by Solomon Lighthelm are non-chronological moving image products and are not edited with perfect continuity to convey the narrative to the audience, and thus the 11th Hour actually uses this short film convention. Furthermore, few mainstream productions also challenge chronological narratives, as it is considered for more intellectual audiences, but independent films like Memento by Christopher Nolan are very hard to classify, as the text has complex and radical structures mixed with common conventions of Hollywood productions through the use of enigma codes. My short film has a strong theme of mental illness, with the protagonist suffering from depression as a result of lack of human contact. The percentage of theatrical products that focus on challenging issues like mental illness is very small, as the market for these films would be considered very specialist. I have identified that texts like Eric Bress's and J. Micaiah Gruber's Butterfly Effect and Richard Kelly's Donnie Darko are in fact from the science fiction and fantasy genre, but each centre two characters with a broken and warped mind. As my product is only a short film, I feel I have developed this convention as I have applied elements of mental illness in a highly fictional world, in comparison to the Butterfly Effect that has a strong sense of realism it would disregard the protagonist's ability to skip backwards and forwards through time. The 11th Hour uses many conventions from real media products, as I have attempted to mimic the technical construction for many of the shots and editing sequences from current texts. I use my research into the Book of Eli to help me decide on the colour grading I would apply to my footage. As the text either had a high contrast or desaturated sky, I followed this convention by applying a neutral density filter and vibrancy filter to all of my shots in an editing program called Magic Bullet Lux. Not only did this effect convey a somber mood I wanted to create, but also allow the audience to establish that my product was from the post-apocalyptic genre. I can deem the use of this convention highly successful, as my focus group during my Media Awards evening instantly pointed out that my short film looked a lot like The Book of Eli and Terminator Salvation, another science fiction film that uses dark clouds to connote a doomsday by blocking out the sun and the divine illumination of humanity. For all media productions, it is important to accurately represent a character by having a clear idea about all details relating to the character and how the details can be developed in the narrative as the text progresses. As conventions often use audience foreknowledge to suggest meaning, viewer ideology is also used to form many different cultural codes. I use this code in my own film text, as the character is in the possession of a ring. While the ring initially denotes jewellery, I carefully chose for the prop to fit the character's ring finger, as this is culturally known as the wedding hand due to the vein that runs directly from the fingertip to the heart of the ring bearer. The audience understand that the character is missing someone very special to him and has since been experiencing mental health issues due to the severity of his loss. The convention of a wedding ring to create a sense of a broken relationship is used extensively in The Road when the protagonist enters a flashback sequence with him and his wife discussing their normal lives. At the end of my short film, my character sadly commits suicide. The suspense was gradually built by using a rope prop to suggest that the character may have intentions of self-destruction, as the audience can identify that the rope could be used to create a hangman's noose and thus suspend the character as he hangs himself. This sequence is also the main reason I believe my short film may be fit for a wider audience, as death by hanging is one of the most frequent forms of suicide in several countries around the world. Moving on to my ancillary texts, both my magazine review and film poster follow the forms and conventions of real media products, as it did not include any challenging elements in either text. To illustrate this, my magazine review includes a magazine title, film title, main image, enlarged first letter, pug, film rating, text bleed, quote, and a final verdict. The magazine page layout is in the conventional form of a magazine review, as the orientation style is vertical with a single page of writing. The text is also justified in black font with a white background directly underneath a large screenshot from my short film. In addition, I have attempted to use elevated and slightly highfalutin language by using words such as extravaganza and ephemeral, as I found this was a common convention of film reviews from research into Screen and Sight of Sound magazine review articles. To understand how a film poster is constructed to promote a film text, I conducted two sets of research, one into generic film poster codes and conventions containing mixed genre texts, and the other for science fiction films in an attempt to identify specific conventions of film posters from this genre. Throughout all of my research, it was very interesting to see the amount of thought that goes into the marketing products, as each image connoted something completely different to what it denoted or represented. For example, the 127 Hours film poster frames a man pushing against two rocks, but when analysing the image, I found that the image imitated the Rubin face optical illusion of an hourglass, clever photo manipulation to suggest to the audience that the film will be based around time. As my film poster uses a single image, it conforms to expectations of the audience, as promotional products for science fiction texts like Dredd 3D and The Dark Knight only use one image. In essence, I have developed a conventional film posters, as I have not included any characters within the picture. The single picture of the endless lane to show the absence of traffic and thus human life opposes products like The Road that frames two characters walking along a desolate highway holding hands. Other conventions I have used include the film title, release date, tagline, 2 film ratings, my production brand ident, and a mock-up website uniform resource locator.